Hi, everyone. It's Nicole here from Sydney English Teacher and from the Successful English Learner by Sydney English Teacher. And I'd like to say a big welcome to episode number 26 of my Question of the Day series. I really appreciate that you have taken the time out of your busy day to join me for today's episode. So, what are we going to talk about today? Well, the question that has been asked is, what is the most important skill to focus on? Now, that's a really good question, and something that, most people who are learning a language will ask. They want to know which areas to focus on in order to get the best results and in order to really accelerate that learning and learn and improve as quickly as possible. So, it's quite a good question, and I have got some great answers, some great tips to help you. But first of all, answering this question, what is the most important skill to focus on? It really all depends on what you want to do. Okay? It all depends on why you are learning English. It all depends on your overall goal. The answer to this question will obviously be very different for everyone, depending on your own unique circumstances, depending on your main interests, your main goals, and really depending on what you want to do with your time. So be aware of that. What I say here is definitely helpful, but you don't need to follow step by step everything that I say here, because it all depends on your goal, on your time, on your interest, on what you want to do and the outcomes that you want to achieve. So, moving on, the first tip is, well, vocabulary skills, definitely. If you want to focus on one important skill area, vocabulary skills is right up there. It's safe to say that without words, without vocabulary, it's very, very difficult to communicate, and obviously even more difficult for people to understand what you want to say. So, vocabulary is a really important aspect of language learning, especially at the very beginning when you are starting to learn English or any language for that matter. So make sure that you learn new vocabulary, new words in English, new expressions in English every day. Okay, but don't just learn how to recognize these words and expressions when you hear them or when you read them. You need to know how to use them as well. We really want to build our personal vocabulary bank, and that means the vocabulary we are able to reproduce as well, the vocabulary we can not only understand, but the vocabulary that we can use confidently and accurately as well. So, I've told you that you need to learn new vocabulary every day. How many words should you be learning? How many words should you be focusing on every day? Well, I would suggest between 1 and 5 words, no more than that, if you want to do it properly and if you want this vocabulary to be part of your long term memory. So make sure when you're learning these 1 to 5 words every day that you are using them every day throughout the week, that you are, what should I say, forcing yourself to use them when you speak, when you write, as often as possible. And if you do this, I guarantee that your vocabulary bank will grow very, very quickly. So, what is the most important skill to focus on? I think for everybody, the answer there is vocabulary. Moving on, obviously, developing your speaking skills is also essential. Nobody wants to learn a language and not be able to speak it. Practicing your speaking in English is a huge part of your language development. You know, you're not only practicing the words and the grammar that you learn when you speak, but you're also practicing how to think in a new language. That is so important. How to think in English. And at the same time, you are building your confidence to speak out loud. How great is that? So you're building your confidence, you're building your ability to think in English, and you're also using and practicing the new words, expressions, and grammar that you learn. Amazing. So, how can you practice your speaking skills? Talk to yourself. Brilliant. You don't need a speaking partner. You could talk to yourself. You can repeat what you hear on television or on the radio. You can even prepare a mini speech, you know, write down some points and talk out loud. Stand in front of the mirror if you'd like to do that. Do a mini speech to force yourself to speak as much as possible. So, answering the question, what is the most important skill to focus on? I'm sure you would agree that speaking skills is right up there at the top of the list as well. Number three, I think it's also important to realize that writing skills are essential for English language success. Obviously, it all depends on why you are learning English and really in which environment you will use the English language in. But developing your writing skills from early on is essential for academic as well as business success in the English language later on. So, practicing that writing from the very beginning is really what will lay the foundation and will allow you to have amazing success later when your level of English is quite advanced and when you want and need to be successful in the academic area or in the business area, especially in writing. So, what can you do to practice your writing skills? Start a diary. Brilliant way to practice. You know, write about your day. Don't go to bed and sleep until you have written about your day. Write down your thoughts, what you are thinking. Write down your memories, what you remember, things that make you happy. Maybe write more emails and more messages, text messages or messenger. Write more to communicate and make writing a daily habit. If it's something that you do naturally every day, There's no need to be afraid of it. It's something that you simply do. It comes to you without thinking too much about it and without being really stressed. So, answering the question, what is the most important skill to focus on? If you want to think about the future and about being successful in the academic or business environment, then writing is definitely at the top of that list as well. Let's have a look at the next tip. Of course, listening skills. So it's really important to focus on practicing your listening skills. Developing your ear for listening and understanding in English will actually boost your confidence and your ability in all the other areas as well. So, listening and developing listening skills is definitely a tricky task. It's quite difficult to do, and it takes a lot of time, attention, and focus. But you will develop your knowledge of the other skill areas if you develop your listening skills. Think of it this way. Your knowledge of the other skill areas in English depends on your ability to listen confidently, correctly, accurately. Depends on your ability to understand what you hear. Your ability in listening also depends on how you're feeling. If you are feeling really excited, enthusiastic, focused, you're going to understand a lot more than if you are distracted or sad or upset. Makes sense, doesn't it? Your ability to listen also depends on the speed of the talker, on the speed of who or what you are listening to. It's obviously a lot more difficult if they speak quickly than if they speak slowly. And it also depends on their accent. If they're a native English speaker and you're used to listening to native speakers, it's much easier for you. But if they have a very strong accent from a country or a language that you're not used to, then it's a lot more difficult, isn't it? And it also depends on the topic. Obviously, you will understand so much more if it's about a topic that you're really interested in. If it's a topic you're not interested in or that you find boring, obviously it will be a lot harder for you to understand. So your listening skills depend on those external factors, but focusing on improving your listening skills and practicing every day will certainly improve your knowledge and skills of all those other areas as well. So it's important to practice your listening every single day. Listen to the radio, listen to the television, listen to movies in English, maybe podcasts, maybe even lectures. Listen to whatever you are interested in, and your ear for listening will 100% improve, develop. It will get easier. So let's have a quick look here at the key points that I'd like you to remember from today's episode. Number one, Make sure that you learn new vocabulary every single day, because daily vocabulary development and daily practice of new vocabulary will really boost your ability to communicate. And I think you know that. Number two, it's so important to practice speaking every single day. If you can build your confidence in speaking out loud by making sure you include practical daily English speaking practice, then you're 99% of the way there. Number three, make sure that you write in English more often. So, developing your skill in writing in English is so important. And if you begin in the early stages of learning English, that will guarantee success later on in the later stages of English. So be aware of that. Write as often as you can. And number four, listen to understand. We need to develop our ear for listening and for understanding as well. We don't just want it to go in one ear and out the other. We need to develop our ability to understand, to comprehend, and this will boost our other English skills at the same time. So, a quick bonus tip from me. I believe that all English language skills are equally important. Speaking, listening, reading, writing, grammar, vocabulary, pronunciation. They're all part of a puzzle that you put together in order to achieve that beautiful overall ability to communicate successfully in the English language, or in any language, I suppose. But if we're answering the question, what is the most important skill to focus on? It's really a personal preference. It's a personal choice. What you focus on is completely up to you. It's up to you what you want to spend your time doing. But remember that if you focus on any skill area, it doesn't matter which one, this will 100% develop your overall English skills as well, and obviously will lead to some great results. So, really, it doesn't matter which area, which skill area you choose to focus on, because you'll have positive outcomes. So, if you have any questions about today's episode, or any other topics that you would like to request and for me to include in a future episode, please get in touch. You can email me, you can click on this link and fill out the form to ask a question. You can comment in the comment section below. You can send me a message via Messenger. It's completely up to you. But if you have any questions, get in touch and I'm more than happy to help. That's what I'm here for. If you'd like to learn a little bit more, make sure that you join my learning community. We have so many amazing free and paid learning resources for you to access. My website, my blog, my online courses, the amazing learning library that's just around the corner, of course, the Facebook page, the Facebook group, the YouTube channel, and so much more. So come and be a successful English learner with me and my community of thousands from all around the world. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this session, this episode, please share the love. Click the share button and Allow your family and friends to benefit from today's tips. Thank you so very much. It was a pleasure teaching you today and sharing some tips for English language success. Make sure you come back again tomorrow because episode 27 is a great one. Thanks, everyone.